Hi guys, it's Ben from Forward English. Today we're going to be having a look at the most wonderful grammar structure, the passive. When we start learning English, we usually start with learning about auxiliaries and grammar structures using the active tense. But in English, we have two main types of structures. We have the active and the passive. Now, both are important, but they have different roles and different grammar structures. But why do we have these? When do we use them? What is the structure? Today, I'm going to show you an easy way to learn the passive and have a look at the different structures and ways we use it. Let's have a look at this situation, shall we? We see a man in a park with a dingo with 3 legs. Now, we would say, "Oh no! A dog bit a man!" Let's have a look at this sentence, shall we? Now, when we see this sentence, how do we know it's an active sentence? Well, when did this sentence happen? That's right, it happened in the past. How do we know that this sentence happened in the past? We looked at the word bit. We can see that bite has been changed into bit. So therefore we know, oh, the verb is telling us, hey, I'm in the past. So therefore, the sentence happened in the past by looking at the verb. So with this sentence, and by looking at the verb, we know it's in the past. In the active sentence, the verb is the king. He tells everybody else what to do and when to do it. But the passive sentence is slightly different. Let's have a look at a passive sentence. A man was bitten by a dog. This has the same meaning as the sentence we looked at before, but there's something strange in this sentence. Let me go back to the original question. When did this sentence happen? That's right, in the past. But how do we know that this happened in the past? The verb looks a little bit strange in this sentence. That's right, we've added something new. We've added the verb be. We also had to change the be verb so we knew it was in the past. We can change the be verb to was or were. This way, in this sentence, the be verb is now the king. He is telling us when something happened. So, the difference between an active sentence is the verb is the king, and the difference in the passive sentence, the be verb, which we added, is now the king. Did you notice something strange about the main verb there? That's right. We've used the past participle, or what I like to call it is verb 3. Unfortunately, you may have to make sure in English that you've memorized the different types of verbs for each one. This is the main problem when we're using the passive, is memorizing all of these be verbs. So now that we understand what the passive is, let's have a look when we actually use it. We have a few reasons why we have the passive in English. Number 1, when we don't know who did the verb, often, for example, for crime, we use the passive. Number 2, when we don't care who did the verb. And number 3, we know who did the verb. I'm not stupid, you don't have to tell me. What do I mean by this? Well, for example, which nationality voted in Donald Trump? Americans from the United States. I know that. You know that. Everybody knows that. So you don't have to tell me. For example, if you say, oh, the Americans voted in Donald Trump. Geez, thanks for telling me. I didn't know that. No, we would say, oh, Donald Trump was elected president. Number 4, which we'll go into later, it depends on the topic or the focus of the conversation. For example, if you're writing an essay, and that essay is about dangerous animals in the park, you would write, dogs bite people, snakes bite people, lions bite people. All of this in the active, because the essay is focusing on animals that are dangerous. But what if the essay that you're writing is focusing on the things that get attacked? Who gets attacked? Who needs to be careful in the park? We would say people are attacked in the park by wild animals. Easy, right? And 5th, we often use it in essays and scientific research to make our writing seem more formal. And finally, number 6, if we don't want to cause any blame. Imagine if I walked into the classroom and I saw my student accidentally break a window. I don't want to tell my boss that this student broke the window and cause blame. So I might say to my boss, hey, a window has been broken. Passive. Because I don't want to blame my students. Now, let us take a look at those annoying be verbs that we have to learn in English. We use was, were, plus past participle for simple. Past simple. We use am, is, are, plus past participle for present simple. We use was, were, being, B-E-I-N-G, plus past participle for past continuous. We use is, are, am, plus being for present continuous. We use have, has, been for present perfect. And of course, we use will plus be for future, and modal verb can, could, plus be, plus past participle. Don't forget that past participle. You always have to change the verb into the past participle when talking even about the future and the present in the passive. Phew. Annoying, I know. But unfortunately, we have to learn these be verbs to be able to use the passive. Now, let's get into the theory. Have a look at this sentence. The woman, looks a pretty good burger. The woman ate a burger. Firstly, look at the verb and ask yourself, who did it? That's right. The woman did the verb. So we know the subject did the verb, so we know it's an active sentence. Now, what happens if we want to change it? Maybe we're writing an essay on burgers. Number 1, what is the subject, verb, object? And what I like to do is I like to physically write in SVO. Next, what is the tense? This is very important because if we make a mistake here, everything else will be wrong. And then what we do is we swap the subject and the object around. We add a be verb, we change the PP, and bingo, we have ourselves the passive. A lot of students ask me, why do we have by at the end of the sentence? And what's its use? Well, often we use by at the end when it's something surprising. Imagine I came to work bleeding from the leg. And I said, I was bitten. What was I bitten by? Probably a dog or a wild dog. But what about if it was a monkey? Of course, I'm the most important thing in my world. So I would say I was bitten, surprise, by a monkey. So often that's a good little trick when to use it. But remember, you can always remove the by because it's not that important. If it was important, we would be using it in active. Well, guys, that's it. Now you guys can use the passive. The main thing now is to get out there, try and use it. If you're a little bit shy, you can write some sentences and change it from active to passive. Please remember to click down the bottom, subscribe or like. This will help me make some more videos. So this is Ben from Forward English. Remember to practice as much as you can, and I'll see you next time.